Welcome to Market Momentum Tutorials. I hope you watched tutorial 1. There's a total of 9. It's a new concept in trading, and after watching all these, come to the website and learn more watching the video reports. It's a new concept. It's got support resistance areas you won't find on a normal chart.
Looking at this line, you have a 2-day momentum range trend line. Market opened above it, and as it opened above it, it should hold it, which it did. It also took out the high value, which it did, and that high value matched a longer term MOM line from an A, B, C movement, because that's a little A, that's a little B, and that's a little C, and it broke the bigger trend line up through and closed above it. Just zoomed out to get a bigger picture. And as you can see, within this bigger channel, you have another channel line going up here and up here. And the interesting thing is, if you watch the video on triangles, these channels are rather like triangles in a way. Is when they break out the channel line, they reverse and go the opposite direction. And as you can see here, it broke down out of this minor channel line, even though into the bigger channel line, and did a reversal up. This bigger channel line, as it started to break out, reversed and went back up. Again with this one here, when we had our first two peaks, we got our first two aligned there. We drew a parallel line and we can match it and find almost similar peaks, which gave us a band. We then put the channel line at the bottom, just where the first peak was made, and it provided guidance through the rest of the channel. Gave us general again, broke out of that little channel there and slammed down, whereas the bigger channel, it broke up to the downside and went up. This little channel, it broke up through, went down. We have another channel line here. As you can see, we got the A leg and the B leg, major B leg here. We put a channel line, a trend line in there, and we drew a parallel line there to the first peak. And again on last Friday's rally, Thursday's rally on cable, it almost hit that channel line and at a peak level. And normally when we start hitting peak levels, we start developing new channels. Now this is the interesting one I want to talk to you about, which is the lower momentum range trend line, and where it helps, again rather like in this one. We're going to zoom it up. Here is a case where the lower MOM line does work, and it's usually when it's a more flattish line. If it's acute, you use it for extreme levels. But on this day, the market actually opened, it broke that low value by a couple of ticks, but we had a lower MOM line going across, 2-day MOM line, which is now 3-day, obviously, if you include the day that we're looking at. But you start off with the 2, it opened up on that MOM line. We had a swing level just above it. It reversed straight back above the swing level, and because it's a descending MOM line, it was allowed to break it. Now, this is an unusual one because it broke the low value and the high value, became an outside momentum day, but it was only a couple of ticks. And we had an acute MOM line going down and a lower MOM line which held, and it reversed up and created what was called a momentum reversal. That is mentioned on the video on inside days and momentum gaps, if you want to know what a momentum reversal is. And went up to that top end of that channel. We have a similar situation coming up with the market, waiting for the market to open on Monday morning. We have a lower MOM line here and an upper MOM line coming down. And this, depending how it opens, will really determine on that market on the day, because we are expecting a top in the market, which is what this bit was here. The market has made new highs, and we're expecting it to really drop down this day, and it has to break this point here, which is about 20 to 30 ticks below neutral, which is 162.18 on this day. I'll show you in a minute. So 30 ticks below is 61.88, which is about, well, that's actually near a 40, isn't it? So it's probably 78. So if it breaks 61.78, it can break down. But this picture is very similar to this picture in a sense, and that's where you could get a rally in the market. There's neutral, and this is the scale. That's 1 cent above neutral, 2 cents, 3 cents. So 20, 40, 60, 80 ticks, 100 ticks. So 1 cent is 100 ticks. So you can calculate where you are, where your mom lines are. We're on the gilt daily momentum range chart here. It's not a full chart. I just wanted to zoom this up to show you. Now this is the case when a momentum line is very acute, and you can see where the momentum line comes in on the day we're looking at is above the high value. This is an ascending momentum line. If you look at most ascending momentum lines, you will find that the market, the trend line, comes within the scope of the previous day's range normally. As you can see here, this 2-day momentum range trend line, the trend line is in the previous day's range. That is normally the case. Again, here you've got your descending momentum line. Again, it comes in within that previous day's range. When it comes in above that range or below the range, as in this one, it's acute, it's a weak momentum line, also I say a weaker momentum line, and one of those that can be broken. Now, generally if it opens below a momentum line, it should break the low value. It didn't in this case. This is a case where a momentum low value is not broken, it's below the momentum line. It can take out the high value, and especially in this case because it's acute and the momentum line comes in above. Had that momentum line not come in above and coming in this range and the low value still hadn't been broken, the percentages increase that it's allowed to break that line, or it can break that line. The general rule is it shouldn't break that line if it comes within the momentum range area, but if it hasn't broken the low value, the percentages increase that upper moment, that this particular momentum line would be broken, because that's one of the rules that generally shouldn't be broken. But as long as that low value isn't broken and it's below an ascending momentum line, it can challenge that line. Once the low value has been broken, the high value shouldn't be broken, and two, it shouldn't break that momentum line. And in this case, you can see it still provides a resistance point. It was acute, it was at a stretch level, and the market did slam up there, and it gave you a level to get out. Rather like these momentum lines here, as you can see, this became a 3-day, this started off as a 2-day, and it gave us the range, was actually a parallel line. Quite often you'll find these parallel lines, it's good to make a parallel line. Again, it gave a lovely target there and gave us the guide for the day. It did try to break it right on the opening here, and it failed down through, and that happens sometimes. So sometimes you need to make sure it's a solid break, but it didn't get above the swing level. It tested the mom line on the opening and dropped back down, broke the low value, gave you a sell point for a target area on this lower momentum line. But again, these lower momentum lines aren't that accurate. They do help on stretch moves, certainly. And again here, for example, you had your 2-day momentum line and it became a 3-day, it was eventually a 4-day momentum line. You had your lower momentum line here on these 2 days, gave you an area to cover in here on the 3rd day, and on the 4th day, as you can see, this line was going down, widening out. From channel lines, on a stretch level, we had that longer term channel line we'd already drawn in because it had 2 lows, and it gave us a level within these 2 lines at a stretch level to cover in the position, and it closed down there, but it opened up the next day right on the mom line, just a couple of ticks under, and it banged straight up